in terms of skill level, I think he can hold his own. He's a very skillful player. He's also got a bit of a bite about him. We saw him he's not afraid to get stuck in as well. Although he's skillful, he's not a sort of he doesn't go missing. He gets stuck in and he does a job for the team. And he's got a good attitude as well. He had a couple of injury problems and he struggled a bit this season. Spent a bit of time on the bench and fought his way back in and got the goals when he came back in and won his place back. So he's clearly got a bit about him, I think. So I think, and we know what a good manager Nigel Adkins is. I think if Nigel manages him well, he could be a real asset to the squad. I mean, I can't imagine he'll probably start on the bench, I imagine. So, but you think he'd get his chance in reserve games and cup games maybe, and have a chance to prove himself.
And just finally, tell us. I know you've already touched on it a little bit, but tell us a little bit about him as a striker in terms of is he a fox in the box? Is he more like a Norris who wants to get the ball in at chest or head height with back to goal? Is he someone who's going to run the channels? What kind of player are Tranmere getting here?
I think when he first came, he seemed to be out and out goal scorer, but his game really developed and he started playing more on the wing and cutting in. And as I say, he's very skillful. He can beat a man. He's got all the tricks. So he started becoming a bit more of a creator, and I think you can see that in the sort of difference in goals he scored and assists. He became a bit more of a creator in his second season. But yeah, he's not afraid to have a shot. He's decent in the air, but he's not your classic number 9 at all. He's much more of a kind of picking the ball up in the channel and running in off the wing into the into the area off the angle, I'd say. But I think he could do both. He's skillful enough and he's strong enough, and he can ride a tackle. He's tall, and I think he can sort of take his game anywhere he wants to. But I'd say his best role would probably be sort of wide sort of playing wide and cutting in.
I'm excited to see how he does. I'm sure all at Marine, including yourself, are as well.
Yeah. I am good. I think we're quite glad he's still local, and I think people will have a chance to see him. And he left some lovely messages and for the club, and you could see the club clearly meant something to him, and the way he celebrated when we went up. I think he wanted to help us get up, which is why he didn't leave perhaps before. And he goes with our blessing, and we're excited to see how he does.
Yeah, no, undoubtedly it's a big step from the Welsh Premier League part-time football into the full-time environment of League Two. I've watched a lot of Tranmere games. I still try and get to as many as possible. I've watched a lot of League Two football this season, and I think that he has the qualities that's needed. He's a tenacious midfielder. He works really, really hard out of possession, as well as being very comfortable in possession of the football. He has a real courage about wanting to take the ball in difficult areas of the pitch. And one thing about his age, he's not flustered. He's already scored the winning goal in the Welsh Cup final for us against TNS. And for those that don't know, TNS, obviously a professional team in our league, whose budget is probably up there with, if not the top half of League Two clubs anyway. So for him to be able to do it on that stage in a cup final shows that he's able to perform in big occasions. For his age, he's sort of got lots of experience already, and he's probably the type of physique that he's got. He's more of a throwback to a kind of a Wayne Rooney or Paul Gascoigne in terms of body shape. Now, I don't want to put any labels against him here, but I think that's something that will improve in his time working with obviously Hodgie and the full-time staff at Tranmere, that can improve his physical shape in terms of being that full-time environment 5 days a week, and then he'll go from strength to strength within that.
You've mentioned something there that I wanted to come on to, which is the amount of football that he's played despite only being 19. So he comes to Tranmere with not much behind him in terms of age, but probably way ahead of a lot of 19-year-olds in terms of adult men's football that he's played.
Yeah, I think that's the big yardstick. It's very difficult to create that pathway into first. Imagine that he's very much ahead of other players of his age. For him to play 70 competitive matches for the first team and started nearly 50 of those, at this age proves that he's very much ready. I think he'll surprise a few when he comes in to Tranmere. I think he'll surprise a few and he'll be ready sooner rather than later for the group. And I think that he's earned that on merit, because when, for him to play that many games over a short period of time means that he's had to do really well to get into our team first and foremost, because obviously we're at the top end of the Welsh Premier League and competing in Europe, and he's played in Europe already in 2 fixtures in the Europa Conference last season. He's played for Wales C, and I think he can go from strength to strength, being in every day full time. Obviously, Tranmere's coaching group will be able to work with him every day, and people like Andy Parkinson, and obviously working under a great manager and experienced manager in Nigel Atkins will give him that next level. However, what he's really been fortunate with here is that obviously with myself as manager and Lee Jones as my assistant, we both got pro licenses, and played in the Football League. Lee Jones obviously played at the highest level, and John McCarthy is our assistant manager, first team coach, has played in the Premier League and a full international. So we've been able to give him some good grounding to sort of put him into a position where when he goes into full-time football, he's ready for it.